welcome to the Irish Arsenal GOONER podcast. It's Tuesday, the 30th of August. I'm your host, as always, Jonathan Giles. You can catch our show on the Dublin Arsenal YouTube channel and also on Spotify over the next few weeks. You can also follow us on Instagram as well, where you get a lot of info as the week goes on, thanks to Martin, and upcoming matches and anything Arsenal related and transfer news as well. I'm joined this week by Eamon Donnelly, Carl Osborne, as always, Martin Stoneville, and a new guest to the show, Craig Smith. How are you, Craig? And welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us, lads.
All right. Good evening.
Good evening, mate.
Good evening, Jonathan there. Just in there watching Emmerdale Farm there. I hope the show's over in time for side of the century there. Might win the Ford Escort.
I was under homes under the hammer myself. So frustrating, Deirdre. Last week's stats was quite impressive again. I think Martin will agree. 139 views, 9 likes, and we're up to 835 subscribers.
Yeah.
And when we get to 1,000 subscribers, we'll get the winner will get the Gabriel Martinelli jersey. And last week's winner to the quiz was O'Neill Dental Care.
All right.
We're hoping to have shiny white teeth as the show continues for everyone. And Martin, what does O'Neill Dental Care win?
Well, one of our fabulous fan packs. Yeah. I'm just going to get in contact with them anyway and see to get the address out. I'm still waiting from last week for the winner to send me his address so I can send him his pack.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah.
Sam Henderson, yeah. If you're
Exactly,
listening, Sam, to this week, if you can email us your details there, be much appreciated. Yeah, we're doing quite well, aren't we, Martin, in terms of the subscribers and the listenership?
It's great to get activity now. Like, we're getting more likes, we're getting a few more comments, so that's what we want to do. You know, we want to get the people to ask us questions so we can talk about them on this show. So let's hear them and let's discuss them. You know, I'm sure we're gonna have plenty to talk about next week with all them games been on and transfer window being closed and everything. So yeah, it should be good. Yeah.
There's plenty to talk on this week's show as well, aside from the matches as well. We're going to dig in before we come to the review of the Fulham game and the previews of Aston Villa and Man United. We're going to quickly go through the Europa League draw that was drawn last Friday. We're in Group A alongside FC Zurich, PSV Eindhoven and Bodo Glimt. The dates are as follows. September the 8th is the opening game at away. Are we at FC Zurich? Yeah,
in Zurich,
September 15th at home to PSV Eindhoven at 8. October the 6th at home to Bodo Glimt at 8. October 13th is away to Bodo Glimt at 5:45. October 27th away to PSV at 5:45. And then our final game is November the 3rd at home against FC Zurich at 8 p.m. I'll throw it out here since we've a packed show to all of you. What do you make of the draw? Whoever would like to go first.
Yeah, well, maybe I go first. I think it's not a bad draw. Probably PSV is obviously the one who seems to be the toughest match. I don't know much about Bodo Glimt. They seem to be a team that just came up 2 years ago but won the league. So seemingly there's artificial pitch up there. It's quite up north. It's like past Iceland. So thank God we don't play them in December. Zurich. Look, Zurich. Yeah, I don't know much about them as well. They don't seem to be too hot. One interesting fact about Zurich game is they're not playing in Zurich. They're playing in St. Gallen, which is about an hour away in the train. So if anybody goes over to the game, so just put that into your in consideration that it's not in Zurich. So it's going to be a smaller stadium as well. So Yeah, but and again, it's next week, so let's see what it is. But yeah, I think PSV is obviously the one we just have to go with, because I think you have to win the group actually, you need to go into the next round.
Well,
best second,
no, the
isn't it?
top two.
Top two go through.
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
As much as I heard that the one goes through, and then the second one is going to play a playoff against the Champions League coming down to go in the next stage.
I think
That's
that's
I'm
just-
going to have a look at it and confirm that there seems to be something new this year, because it's the other way around as well. Europa League into Conference League is exactly the same.
Look, in any event, it's not worth brain aching over, because we should be getting out of that group.
Yeah.
We're well good enough to get. And we could have got any combination of teams that would have presented you with the same level of challenge or otherwise, and we have a squad that can go out there and, I think the most important thing from an Arsenal point of view is that we'll see Fabio Vieira, we'll see Eddie Nketiah, and we'll see other players, and that's better than what we had to put out before that, So
Yeah.
I don't think we should necessarily overanalyze it. It is what it is. We should be capable of beating Swiss opposition. The English league is way stronger than the Dutch league. Every now and then Ajax comes up with a phenomenal team, but it's and who's the other team again?
Bodo Glimt.
That sounds like a bad toy ride or something.
could be if we lose.
You walk pretty slowly with one of them. Yeah, okay.
I made a few notes on this draw, and I'm going to be very quick. Eamon will
Go ahead.
tonight, but they've all come from Champions League qualifier.
Yeah.
At some point, so that sort of serves the level we're looking at. PSV have got Ruud van Nistelrooy as manager, so I hope Martin Keogh's doing the punditry. Bodo Glimt carry their supporters are known to take giant yellow toothbrushes to games, which is great for Ruud van Nistelrooy because the guy's a horse.
Excellent.
And the Swiss is expensive beer, and that's about as much as I've taken on from it, really. So there you go. There's my input for what it's worth.
We could yodel our way over to Switzerland. Martin, you might know a little bit about yodeling. It might have crept into Austria the odd time, did it?
The odd time, yeah. Like
there, a little yodeling head there.
I'm well known after a few beers to start into yodeling to communicate.
That's what we need then. That's what we need for the preview of that match then. Right, we want that.
Yeah. The sound of music just is still kind of like lingering around.
What was your take on the Craig on the draw?
Yeah, I think it's a fairly decent draw. As the lads were saying, I think we have to expect to top that group. I think PSV probably be the strongest challengers in the group. And there'll be a few decent players. Gakpo is still there. Now whether he goes at the end of the transfer window is another story, but we're actually linked to him today on Sky Sports, I see him, but I think he's probably their best player. And Zurich, I wouldn't know much about. I know from Switzerland, and I personally think they're probably the weakest team in it. I actually seen Bodo Glimt play Celtic last year in Celtic Park, and they were a very good team to beat Celtic 3-1 in Celtic Park, and the atmosphere was great in Celtic Park. But the Norwegian team played them off park that night, and they also beat, I think it was Roma 6-2 or 6-1 last year in the Europa League. So I don't think they're going to be pushovers. A bit like the Norwegian team, I think it was, that Graham Potter managed a few years ago, Ostersunds. I think they beat us 1-0 in the Emirates, so I think they can't take them lightly. But like the lads were saying, I think we have to top that group. I think our second team should be breezing through the group.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd assume the way we're playing at the moment, we'd come through that group, or definitely our home form. You'd assume that we'd win 3 from 3 there and pick up another couple of wins there, and we should top that quite comfortably. Yeah. So that's going to be all on Thursday nights, those fixtures, and within the space of 2 months, really, it's been squashed right through. Yeah, it's 6 games there in 2 months, but keep the games coming with the form we're in.
October seems to be a very busy month, but it looks
very
a bit
busy. Yeah.
I think we play every 4th day or something.
We've 6 games in October: Tottenham, Liverpool, Leeds, City, Southampton, Forest. And then throw in Bodo Glimt home and away and PSV away. So that's a handy enough month, 9 games in a month. Bring them on, that's what I say. Bring them on. And we'll be champions of England come the end of December, just in time for Boxing Day. That's the draw, I suppose, concluded, lads. And we'll move on, as we have a busy show, to the review of Fulham. I know Eamon, Ozzy and Craig were at the match. Martin and myself were armchair viewers with a few cans or pints in our hand. 2-1 away home success. Goals by Odegarrd and Gabriel, and Mitrovic got the goal for Fulham. I thought Odegaard was superb in that game. The way, he really took the scruff of the neck when we went 1-0 down. His passing and just breaking things up in midfield. I thought we missed Partey and Zinchenko though. I know from looking at Twitter there today, Partey's going to be out for a few games, so that's a bit of a loss. But I thought Gano had a good game for Fulham. He pulled off some good stops. It could have been a lot more than 2. I thought we could have won 3 or 4-1. I thought Fulham gave us a good game though overall. It was a good test. I think it was our first real test. First time we went behind the season, and I thought in seasons gone by we probably would have drawn or lost that. And I thought that team is really showing a real togetherness there Saturday. Gabriel recovered quite well from that mistake. He was bullied all game really by Mitrovic. It was hard to play against. We said that last week on the show. He was one player that was going to distract us. But look, 4 from 4, 12 points, top of the league. It's tougher tests are to come, which we're going to go on to later. But I'm happy enough with that. But since Craig is new to the show and you're at the match, Craig, what was your take from your seat on Saturday?
Yeah, when the game 4 started, I thought we were going to win with a few goals. One of our decent side as they showed against Liverpool at home, drawn. But no, I think we started off very well. We controlled possession for the first half with a few chances. I just think the Fulham defenders put a few last-ditch challenges in, so that goal didn't come for us. I think going the goal behind, I think it was a kind of kick up the arse for Arsenal. Odegaard had a very good game. I think we did miss Partey and Zinchenko a lot. I just don't think Elneny is the level of Partey. I think Elneny is a decent player, but he's not Arsenal's level. I think a lot of times in the game he could have released the ball a bit quicker and played the ball a bit quicker to get the ball up the pitch a bit. And then Zinchenko, I think Zinchenko and Tierney are different players. Zinchenko holds the ball, keeps possession, keeps things ticking, whereas Tierney's just up and down the wing, and he's a good crosser of the ball. He didn't look fit to me on Saturday personally. I think the team showed character to come back and win 2-1 in the end. I think we deserved it overall. I think when Fulham scored a goal, they just sat back and Mitrovic was doing a bit of play acting during the game, but no, the atmosphere again on Saturday was unbelievable. It's probably the best I've seen it in there. Every fan was up for it, and I think the crowd definitely drove the team on to come back and get the goals.
Yeah, no. From listening to on Sky Sports, Alan Smith says that was the best he's seen it in nearly 10 years. The night of Barcelona, that 2-1 victory, when the place erupted. Probably I wouldn't be far off agreeing with him. I think I know my first game was Leeds at the end of last season. I thought the atmosphere was brilliant, but since the Ashford Ultras, that's in the black t-shirts now. They really added really another dimension to the crowd. Brilliant. As it's a busy show, who would have been your man of the match, Craig? Before I move on,
I know a lot of people probably say Odegaard, but I'd personally give it to Ben White. I thought he was very good at right back. I don't think he's put a foot wrong all season, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
he's a different player to Tomiyasu, but I just think he's slotted in there, and he doesn't look out of place. So I thought, I'd give it to Ben White. I thought he was very good on Saturday night personally.
Yeah, we've said that actually over the last few weeks. A whole lot of us, Ben White has really stood out. Eamon, you were at the match as well. What was your take from your view?
Well, Craig has made one or two of the points I wanted to make. I was very concerned when I saw that Thomas Partey was out, because he's the one player that we don't have anybody. I might have mentioned this in the buzzer to Ozzy there when we heard it, the team sheet. So, I mean, as Terry Venables would say, he's got feet. He can go high, go low, and he's got an head. Imagine what it'd be like without feet and an head. Good man, tell. A wonder brain. Well, I'll tell you what Thomas Partey does that and then he can't do, is that he's quicker to appreciate gaps in lines and take up a position there and receive the ball and get turned, right? And I noticed at the Brighton game last year when we decided to play Sambi Lokonga in that position when Partey was absent, the same thing happened. That Gabriel and William Saliba, who's very, very good on the ball, both of them are quite good on the ball, right? They're taking 7 and 8 touches, right? Which means that they can't see as much. They can't see Thomas Partey in that gap, get the ball to him quickly, he gets turned and he gets us on the move, right? That wasn't happening. So it all slowed down, right? Whereas Mo, very committed player and all that, right? But he doesn't get into those gaps in the same way, and he certainly doesn't get turned in the same way. Okay, so it was all that bit slower, right? So I had a knock-on effect. I think KT did look a bit out of puff, but then again, he hasn't played. He's only back after an operation. I like that lad. He'll be okay. But I think the most remarkable thing about the game was the reaction of the players when Fulham scored, in that there was nobody down, head hanging, right? Odegarrd was getting the crowd up, and you wouldn't have associated that with him, you know. But he's really taken to it. Granit Xhaka was superb, right? Again, and you know, everybody had a little bit of comfort for Gabriel, who I wouldn't say, Jonathan, that he was bullied by Mitrovic. Mitrovic is a handful. You know, I mean, Jesus, he's like Dolph Lundgren, you know. You know, he's quite he is a
Gets
handful,
everyone
right?
riled up, doesn't he? He tries to rile up.
Gabriel, yeah, but when you have to physical it out with Mitrovic, you're gonna be in a battle, you know. I think Gabriel did okay overall. I thought the ball that Saka played into Gabriel, either one of two things has to happen there, right? Either Saka just plods it down the line because there's nothing else on, or when Gabriel receives it, he puts it over the press, and we get them turned around. I'm not an advocate of long ball football, but it was too risky to try and get it down out of the air the way he did. His first touch actually was quite good. It was the second one that was a disaster, you know. And yeah, but anyway, but again, the reaction of the crowd was brilliant. There was none of this sniping or impatience or oohs and ahs. It was absolutely, I've never witnessed anything like it, right? The team showed a will to win. The crowd willed them to win. And if you were going to ask me about my man of the match, I'm going to surprise you what. I thought man of the match was Gunnar Sars. Now, I thought man of the match, right, was Eddie Nketiah. Man of the match was Eddie Nketiah. He changed absolutely everything. He changed everything. He turned them around on their heels. He got them running in a different direction. He got 3 or 4 chances for himself. And I'll tell you one thing about that boy. Whatever he was doing during the summer after signing the new contract, he has bulked up into a stronger player. And we're going to see a lot of him. And I'm delighted he signed for us. And again, Jonathan, before I just finish on this, I was advocating a new contract for Nketiah last year. If everybody listened to me, Bill, everything would be okay. So I'll finish on that.
I thought he deserved a goal or two as well. I thought Jesus, everyone said quiet game. I was listening to Liam Brady last night. I didn't think he had a quiet game. I thought he harassed the Fulham defence quite well. You know, he doesn't have to score all the time, but what he gives you as an end product is encouraging as well. Because Mikel Arteta's 100th Premier League game, Ozzy, a nice win for him as well to take us back on top. What did you make of the game on Saturday?
Well, firstly, I'm glad I'm talking because I've nearly lost my voice for about 24 hours because I did enjoy myself, and sorry to Richard Keys for over celebrating because I did to quite a high degree that day. But in terms of the match, I was listening to your points about Partey and Zinchenko, and I thought no one had mentioned Eddie Nketiah until Eamon trumped me. Eddie, as Eamon said, he absolutely changed the game when he came on. You felt a shift. It was a substitution, defender for an attacker. It showed intent, and I think he really stretched that back line and made a difference in that. In terms of what everyone else said, Partey, we've been saying all season, haven't he? He just goes about his business. He don't stand out. He just gets that job done. And I think missing Zinchenko and Partey, for me, was a big knock because I think the two of them together made a big difference. I think if we had one or the other, you wouldn't miss them so much. But yeah, because Zinchenko does that great thing where he slips into midfield all the time and links that up. And I think we showed a bit of, I think, not being unfair on KT, but Kieran Tierney, he has limitations. He's a great left back, and I'm not trying to say he isn't, but he's not a Zinchenko, but he's a different type of player. So I'm not being negative about Tierney. I think he's got a role to play in this squad, but I think we saw the limitations of him, even though it could have been a fitness thing. So fair point now. But Odegaard for me, just his distribution, his work rate, his passion, everything he done on that pitch. And I've been tinkering with last couple of games. He's been showing real good strong performances, and he was nearly my man of the match last week as well. So in terms of man of the match, it's going to be Odegaard for me. But I did have a thought of Eddie Nketiah earlier this morning when I was thinking about I'm going to choose my man of the match because he did change the game for me. But we had a lot of shots on target. I think we had a lot of chances. I didn't realise how many chances we had until I watched Match of the Day.
Yeah,
I'm sure Craig and it felt very frustrating for a bit. And I'm not going to steal the tagline there. I'm not going to steal. I heard it live on Saturday. It was one of the best days of my life. But no, it was. I've sat in the Emirates quite a few times over the course of years, and felt it's never going to come. And a little bit that crept back in until Eddie Nketiah came on, and then there was hope. And yeah, the atmosphere was great when that second goal went in. We celebrated it. We celebrated it twice. That's the best thing about it. We celebrated it, and then we celebrated the VAR.
The dreaded VAR saying the possible handball. Do you know what? If I'd have had hair, I'd have lost it.
I think it was more sweet Gabriel getting it as well. After what happened to him with Mitrovic scoring the fourth, you could see how gutted he was, and for him to get the winner it was just beautiful, wasn't it? Just to see it.
It was.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. That noise, that honestly, when that second goal went in, I've not heard it like that before.
I'm loving the Sporting Ultras out there. Absolutely brilliant. They watch none of the game, but they just playing it great.
Yeah.
Their backs to the game the whole time. That's brilliant.
They were still singing about 8-9 o'clock at night when I left London. Anyway. Yeah, they were still singing. Yeah. When I walked past them. Yeah.
There really is, after the last 2 years of what we've gone through, no fans in the stadium, for them to come to it, it's just like a whole new era, isn't it? Just building now. It really is. It's great. And for just coming back from 1-0 down, it's just great for teams like that over the last few seasons. We would have just given up, but there's such a fight, determination.
If that game had been 2 years ago, the crowd would have turned against us at 1-0 down.
Yeah. They stuck with us the whole way, Eamon. Yeah. You can see that the fans are on board with what they're trying to do there now. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Can I just say one final point?
Yeah, go ahead.
Mitrovic, I know we said he was going to be a handful last week, but how much would we benefit from a player like Mitrovic as well?
I think he'd be ideal, Ozzy. Yeah, someone that can bully you, that can bully defenders. I think awesome. Jesus is a bit about him though. He's a bit of a fiery thing as well, hasn't he? He's a bit of an appetite there.
Watch this space. Watch this space. Eddie Nketiah is going to terrorise defenders physically in a way that we haven't seen before. Because what I saw, the strength of that boy on Saturday, it was different. He is different. He's obviously done some serious strength and conditioning over the summer.
Yeah. You can see
because
that, can't
you know one of my problems with Eddie was great in the box and he's a good old poaching around the box, but he got pushed off the ball too easy. Those days are gone,
Yeah.
you know. And he's also
Setting aside,
he's got electric pace that I didn't realise he has, you know.
Yeah.
Electric Eddie.
Electric Eddie, yeah. Eddie
Electric
the
Avenue.
Eagle.
Eddie Grand, what a hero. I can see a spliff in Eddie's mouth when he scores a hat-trick the next game. Martin, your take from the bar stool of the River Bar?
Well, yeah, exactly. I was in the River Bar, and fair play to the guys over there again. Like we had a full house again. It's so good to see young crowd. You know, it's probably like the stadium. We just kind of like got the atmosphere in there as well. And it was great to see. Yeah, like what you already said, like about the game. I think we had 22 shots on goal, and probably we should have converted a bit more. That might be the only criticism about the game. But saying we always wanted last week, I said, look, we want to have a goal and see if we can come back from it. So we got our wish. So please don't wish again for it. Yeah, look, we did come back, and I think that's one good to see. And there's actually a stat which came up. This is the first. Yeah, this is the first time since 2013 that we conceded the first goal in the second half and came back and won the game. So that's like 9 years ago since we did that. So which is great to see, and that's exactly what we want. And long may it continue. And hopefully, yeah, look, we got a bit bad news today with El Neni being out as well. So it is really the Arsenal curse, like, it's not only Partey, Zinchenko, and now it's El Neni as well. So I think we are a bit thin. Let's see how they come back from it. But I think we do have still people and personnel who can play that role. I even thinking of like putting Ben White in the middle and putting Tomiyasu out if needs be. But look, there's the bits and pieces to have. The game was great. Yeah, the atmosphere after the 2-1, and again celebrating twice for the 2-1, it was just mad. And yeah, it's just good to be in, and long may it last, like, because I'm sure we're gonna get days where we're not gonna celebrate,
You're man of the match, Bert, on Saturday.
Yeah, like, I mean, actually, like what Eamon said, like Nketiah coming on changed the game, and which was good to see as well is like that Arteta actually changed. He took Tierney off and put Nketiah on, so he wanted to do that, and he did that straight away after we conceded, which is good to see from the manager as well, that he's like on the ball. He did the right decision. So yeah, it's Odegaard. Look, Odegaard played well all game, so I will give it to Odegaard. But Nketiah definitely changed the game. You can 100% see that, and yeah, he will be. I think he'll be on fire in the Europa League.
Yeah, 100%, and the League Cup and every cups as well. Every cup as the season goes on. Yeah, and I think just before we move on to Villa, I think Fulham they'll give any of the top teams a game. They're not afraid to pass it around, and they've a lot of good players there, and they really surprised me Saturday. They came out and they gave as good as they got.
Jonathan, can I just say this? I think this is going to be the year where everybody's going to give a lot of teams a game. I mean, look what Palace did at Man City. They had the road.
Just being from a promoted side, though, Eamon, they impressed me. Yeah. What did you make, actually, lads? I'm going to throw it out there before we move on. Bernd Leno's game on Saturday. I thought he played pretty well.
Yeah, he made
solid.
Sorry, Craig. One.
He made a mistake for a second goal.
Yeah,
he's a very good goalkeeper.
That's a gift or something. Yeah.
Bernd Leno's a very good goalkeeper.
He is.
Very good goalkeeper.
Professional,
Very good professional.
Yeah.
Never quibbled, never opened his mouth, got on with it, no going to the press. I'm glad he got a warm reception. The only bit of stick he got was for lying on the ball, and you get that.
Yeah.
You understand. Yeah.
So when Martinez didn't get that type of reception last season, because the crowd starts singing, he's better than you, he's better than you, and that's because Martinez couldn't keep his gob shut. I've gone to a bigger club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And look how the tables have turned, which we're going to move on to now, the preview of tomorrow night's game against Aston Villa at home as well. It's live on BT Sports. The last time we played Villa at home, was back in October last year, 3-1. I think Eamon, you were at that one.
Yeah, I was at that game. That was the game I'm talking about where they were singing at Martinez. You know?
Party, Smith Rowe, and Aubameyang scored that night. And Ramsey scored a late consolation for Villa, where Ramsey was disgusted that he had a top game all night, and then I think it was in the last couple of minutes he conceded. But yeah, going to Martinez, how the tables have turned now. They've only had one win and 3 defeats now from their first 4. I think Gerrard could be facing the exit door pretty soon as well. Some of the signings he's made aren't really adding up there, you know. They're not. I think Coutinho, he's not showing what he used to, you know. I can only see, being honest with you, I can only see a home win here, lads. And I think another 3-1. I'm going to go for myself. I think we'll steamroll them. I don't think they're really playing for Gerrard at the moment. They look very low in confidence, Villa. He's publicly coming out and backlashing how bad they're playing and now, which is not ever really a good move when you're a Premier League manager and a rookie one at that. I don't think he should have left Rangers, really. He was building something there. It was a big leap to go to Villa.
Oh, let's go. Hello. I think we lost him.
What do you think?
Anyways, yeah. So maybe we're just gonna start reviewing or like previewing the game. So who would not go first? Eamon.
Yeah. Well, look. I don't. Again, I'm. This is my least favorite part of the show is predicting Arsenal scores because you know I'm.
I know.
I'm like, as I said, the Pink Panther with the swarm of bees over his head, or Jonah, you know. But look, we should be able to handle them. But you know, let's not forget what they did when they went. They nearly cost Man City the title in the Etihad last year. They went 2 goals up. You know, they're a capable team and they've got pace up front. Again, I always say if you have designs on being in the top 4, you've got to be beating the teams that you think are better than, and this is one of them. Right, and if you get 2 points per game, you're in the top 4. You don't have to beat everybody, right? And this is a game that we're well capable of winning. My worry about these is that they'll sit in deep, and again with no Thomas Partey there, that will take too long to get the ball moving. We're going to have to address that, you know. Maybe Smith Rowe might be an option on Wednesday,
Yeah.
you know. So yeah, I'd go with a. I'd go with a 2 or 3-1 for the Arsenal.
Yeah. Personally, myself as well. Like, I think there will be rotation anyway because, like, you know, with the game in mind on Sunday, obviously, like through the injury from El Neni, we'll see who's going to come into midfield. You know, is it Lokonga? Is Zinchenko fit enough to play? We don't know yet. Seemingly, I heard in the press conference that Zinchenko probably not on Wednesday, but he might be fit for Sunday, and I take that probably more than it. But yeah, it's one of these teams again, isn't it? Like it's like last year Everton, you know, like the fans walked out on them and they had a really, really bad run, and then we thought we're just gonna go there and we steamroll them. And a wounded dog, you know, like is always like very hard to beat, and it's just one of these games. But yeah, again, we do have the players. We have the thing to win a game, and let's see what it is. But yeah, like we need to have a bit more tempo coming out midfield, and maybe we're gonna see Vieira. Maybe we're gonna see players like we didn't see Smith Rowe. You know, we'll see how that goes, and then look at this. These are the games that we're gonna play. We're gonna play Thursdays, Wednesdays, and we just have to have the team, and I think we do have the team. So yeah, I'm going with a 2-0, a bit more conservative, but yeah, let's see how it goes.
Do you want me to go now? So
yeah, go on.
I'm a bit like you, Martin. I'm a bit worried about. Well, I'm worrying again, Eamon, about the squad they've got. Because they've got a good squad, Villa. There's no doubt in that. They've got some talent in their first 11 as well. They've got some midfielders like Louise, McGinn, Kamara. They're big, strong midfielders. So it's going to be interesting to see with our notable absences how we perform. But like I said, against the Fulham game, they were organised and they turned up organised, and you know they were tricky as well. But we've got to win these games, and we've got to turn Emirates into that fortress. So for me, really, even with our players out, we've got the squad to do this. So I'm going to go We're going to stick it out there 2-0, and just hope we can get that result. But big test is on Sunday, isn't it? So that's for a big test. And we're going to see what we're really like against them, and just hope we can come unscathed without any knocks to Gabriel, Jesus, and the like as well, because we can't afford any more, certainly.
Yeah. Craig, how would you think?
Yeah, I think we should be beating Villa now. Honestly, they've had a difficult start. They're 15th to the table now. I think they've lost the last 3 out of 4 games. I know they lost against West Ham the weekend 1-0. I think that was at home. They've been quite unlucky with 1 or 2 injuries. I think Diego Carlos, who they got from Sevilla, centre half, done his Achilles there last week, so he's out for the season. So I think they've actually Callum Chambers playing centre half now, and I'd fancy Jesus to, play well against him. So, like you were saying there, I am a bit worried that Villa might just sit back. They might just pack the midfield and try stop the likes of Odegaard and Saka playing. And as you know, Gerrard probably had them up for it, on Wednesday. Although he's struggling, but I think they'll sit back and try maybe get a point. I think Eamon was saying about Smith Rowe. I think I'd like to see him come in. I think Martinelli towards the end of the Fulham game, he looked knackered.
He did, and he was touching his hamstring too.
Yeah, he was touching his hamstring towards the end. He was going down. So personally, I'd probably bring in Smith Rowe, and Elneny's obviously out for the season now, which I'd imagine in Lokonga will probably start. I seen a report on Twitter today that
is he gone for the season, Craig? Is he?
I don't know. I've seen mixed reports. I've seen reports that he was out for the season. I've seen reports that he's out until Halloween. So I don't know. Do you know what? The transfer window is still open at the moment. I think we're still 1 or 2 players short.
Well, at least with this medical team, they get them back quickly. But Jesus, the last medical team, he would have been out till Halloween 2024.
Yeah.
It's just typical Arsenal. Remember Theo Walcott went off giving the 2-0 to the Tottenham fans, and I think, and it was all getting carried off. He was giving it the big thumbs up. I think they went in and hobbled him in the dressing room.
I think that was the
year.
No, I just think we're always 1 or 2 players short. I'd love Eddie to go out and get a centre mid now and a winger, just to kind of finish off the window, because I think if we got them 2 in, I'd be 99% confident we get top 4.
Stories have been breaking about Wilfried Zaha today.
Yeah, seeing Zaha linked again. There's actually a player from Shakhtar Donetsk. I don't know if you've seen it. Mikhailo Mudryk, I think his name is.
Yeah.
21.
He's more likely.
Yeah, I think if anyone was to sign, I think it's going to be him. I think it'll be one or the other. I can't see a centre mid and winger coming in, unfortunately, but there is still rumours about Tielemans. But I think if anyone comes in, it'll be Mudryk. But I think in terms of the scoreline for tomorrow, I'd go same as you, 2-0 Arsenal. Less.
Yeah. Jonathan, welcome back.
We've got through the Villa preview, have we?
Yeah. So we just
he was sitting down there. He only had to be in the loo.
As I said, I'll go with 3-1. I didn't have to listen to that gibberish there for the last 10 minutes. We only sing when we're winning.
I was actually watching the League of Ireland game on LOI TV there last season, Bowes, and the home team does the commentary, you see. So they have a pro and a commentator, and it's all very kind of, the home team. But the commentator actually did go for a Barry White in the middle of it, right? And he left the the ex-Bows player commentating away there while he was all together,
Only in Ireland.
Oh, only in Ireland, yeah.
Thank God there isn't. Thank God you have to pay to watch that garbage.
Don't knock it until you try it, Jonathan.
What a load of rubbish. Eamon was on about Arteta out not so long ago.
Jonathan, I want to clear this up for the listeners. Eamon, despite your secret messages on secret platforms that you think I don't have access to, I was always Arteta in. Now, so if you keep trying to call me out on the wrong thing, I'm going to have to flush you out. It's a double standard. I said 2 weeks ago, we wouldn't tolerate double standards on this program. We need to iron it out. Okay? Arteta is... but if you look at it... No, seriously now. If you look at Gerrard, Arteta, they're the same type of profile, really, you know?
Mm.
Who got the better deal there?
Yeah, Gerrard out.
Steven Gerrard as a player was like Roy of the Rovers. You know, up and down and brilliant shots from 30. But he never had the same understanding of the game as an Arteta, you know? That's why England was shy. Because, you know, if he's your pivot in midfield, he's not getting on the ball and pulling strings the way a Fabregas would, you know? He was never that type of player. So I don't think that he has the same kind of tactical appreciation of space that, say, an Arteta would have, you know? And I think we got the better deal, so...
What's gaslighting, isn't it, the way the English media aren't even criticising Gerrard?
No.
Do you know, if
It's
there's another
absolutely
man,
hilarious.
you
Yeah.
know, they'd be criticising him.
Yeah, he's untouchable, you know?
Yeah.
Scott Parker did sacked today after 4 games, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the way Harry Maguire was playing, they don't touch him either, you know?
No.
I mean, there's a guy who every single part of his body is 12 inches too big, you know?
Oh, God.
You must know something we don't, Damon.
Or before the watershed, this is a family show. Anyway, United.
United
Good, yeah.
is, and United, here we come. United, of course, is Sunday 4:30. Lost their last season 3-2. When we took the lead through Smith Rowe. I didn't think we deserved to lose that night. I thought we played okay in that game. But that scumbag Ronaldo got 2. Thankfully, he'd probably be on the bench for this one. Because they signed Anthony, didn't they, for 80 million quid off Ajax. I don't think we'll go there in fair, being honest. Like in previous seasons, I think we go there and beat them. You know, I don't think they're on it. Their last 2 games were an improvement on their first 2, but it couldn't have got any worse, in fairness, from their first 2. So they were rock bottom as it was. I think if you can get at Martinez, I think Gabriel will kill him off. I think a 2-1 win there. I think I'd be confident to go in there for 6 wins in a row.
Jesus.
Now, I'm saying that, and United probably steamrolled us 4 or 5-0, but I'm going with a 2-1 win. I'll go to Craig, since this is your debut show. Craig, what do you think for Sunday?
Yeah, I'm actually quite worried for Sunday. Similar to last year, I think we were playing very well. United were struggling this time last year. You know, Arsenal expected to go there and win, and we lost 3-2. I just think I think on Sunday we're going to be missing Partey. I'm hoping Zinchenko will be back because he'd be a massive plus. I think missing Partey though against them is a big loss, because I remember, I think it was 2 years ago, we beat them 1-0. I think it was away, and Partey just dominated the whole midfield. Their crowd will be up for it on Sunday now, with them being at home. You know, like the Liverpool game the other day, they'll just sit back and try counter us like they did to Liverpool. If it was the guess, I'd probably guess a draw, maybe 2-2, but we could easily go there and win. You know, the likes of Martinelli against Diego Dallo, I think he's the beating of him. But I just do worry the mentality that we have. Do we go there, you know, and just maybe play for a draw instead of going for a win? And then, you know, are the crowd going to back United, and then are they going to come out on top, you know? I'd if you were to offer me a draw now, I'd take it, because I just think United at home in the big games, you know, they're hit or miss. They can be dangerous. So if I had to guess, I'd go 2-2, especially with United's new signings coming in their first game, and that I think the crowd will be all up for it. So yeah, I'll go for a 2-2.
Yeah, Eamon, what would you think of Sunday?
I have a very pragmatic view on these things. Like when you were away, Jonathan, now when you just fell off air, I was talking about the Villa game, and I was saying, if you want to kind of have aspirations on top 4, you need to be getting 2 points a game, right? Said this many times. And to get 2 points a game, what you do is you beat all the teams that you think you're better than, right? When it comes to Man United, they're one of our challengers. If you get an away point up there, it's not bad. No matter how bad they were against Brighton and Brentford, they were good against Liverpool. Now Liverpool weren't great that night, but they were good against Liverpool. They weren't particularly good at the weekend. Southampton should have got something out of that, you know. But that being said, I mean, they're the team that you're looking to take 4 points off. Last year we had them beaten in Old Trafford, and we decided to implode. And then the other way around in the Emirates, we got a great drop on them at the start, went 2 goals up, and then we turned into a Rolls Royce being driven by Laurel and Hardy. You know, like we were all over the place. And Ronaldo was terrorising us. And I know Ronaldo hasn't been starting, but that's the way I want to see it. Keep him on the bench. He always scores against us.
Yeah.
You know. So look, I think we can get a 1-1 draw up there, and I'd be okay with that. You know.
Yeah. No, I'd be confident of coming away with a victory. To be honest, I think the momentum.
You always think that.
I haven't been wrong yet, Aidan. I said we'd win our first 5 games, and fingers crossed. If everyone listen to me, and Arteta obviously is, everything be okay.
We should be beating them, but it's Arsenal, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think this is a different Arsenal team. I really do. I think this is a different Arsenal team to last year.
Get all that, but they turned over Liverpool last Monday night.
I saw that coming. Like if they put in another bad performance, that was the end of Eric Ten Hag. You know,
not at all.
I'll tell you one thing now.
Let's get out of fantasy. Let's get out of fantasy league manager mode, right?
Saying that,
Eric Ten Hag. Are you seriously telling me after 3 games it was get rid of him?
He would have went like Scott Parker at Bournemouth there, because I tell you, if that was a heavy defeat last Monday, I guarantee it, the United fans would have turned on him.
No, this is not FIFA manager.
He's a rubbish manager, but I don't think he'll last.
This is a serious podcast, right? This is not FIFA manager, right? What I'm saying is,
he was favoured to
tell you what that club needs. What that club needs is to do what we did.
They need to become
burn the house down and rebuild it. That's what that club needs, right? And they need to stick with a guy to do that.
You know, they're just a business band. They're not a club.
It would have been David Moyes out only the one at Villa, I suppose. Anybody who loses 3 matches is gone.
No, I tell you, Ten Hag won't last the course there. You know, you can see it's just United way if you're not winning titles and all.
Have you had a personality transplant and turned into Piers Morgan or something? Everybody out.
We do anything for views.
If we lose on Sunday, the dashboard and crew will want Arteta out if we lose Sunday.
I'll tell you one thing. I'm going to say it to you now. All of these calls for managers' heads after 3 games.
I thought it was.
Oh, but it's so frustrating, Deirdre.
Scott Parker got
put a sucking it, Barlow.
Obviously, since he put on the English accent there, how do you think the game will go Sunday?
Tenuously. I'd have been a lot more worried about this had United carried on that bad run. I think because that would have had every hallmark for something to go wrong for us if they'd carried on that bad run. But they've had a bit of form. They've got a bit more confidence. It gives me a little bit more hope. I know it sounds ridiculous, but it just gives me not that they're going to be complacent at all. I don't expect that, but I think that falls in our favour a little bit. I think they're less desperate for the win as they was. They're still out to prove a point. I'm going to try and be positive and say we're going to. For me, I was thinking 2-1. I thought that all along. A 2-1 win for the Arsenal, but a draw, I'd absolutely take it with both hands if you give me an option at the start of the day. But yeah, it's funny you should say about like Ten Hag and the manager situation. I still, to this day, think if they'd have stuck by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, they'd be in a better place than they are now. For me, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would have. He's not the same as Arteta. But we don't know, do we? But he would have brought stability to that club, and I think he would have had he been allowed to, he'd have put that club in a better place. They've just chopped and changed too much, haven't they? But yeah, Old Trafford is. You can't really call these games, can you? You can't really predict them. We could go up there, play out our skin, and still lose, and we've seen it happen, haven't we? So let's. I'm going to stay positive. 2-1.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll take a draw. That's as much as I can say about it, really.
I think the Casemiro signing could be quite good for them. I think he'll.
It's a lot of money for an older player, though, isn't it?
I think he bring a lot more experience to that midfield, though. I think
they need to stop signing players like that.
I think
Anthony.
That's
the issue with them, though.
Anthony was a waste.
That's the issue with them. They need to stop signing these mugs. Who are on 350 grand a week. They need to stop doing that. They need to burn the house down, be patient with the manager they have, and build it back up.
So I look at Casemiro and I draw parallels with David Luiz. I know we didn't sign him for that much money, but
Willian,
it's short-term solutions. They're plugging holes.
Have you not seen this before at United? When they bought Schweinsteiger, I think in 2017, he was a similar age to Casemiro. These signings are more commercial for Man United than anything else.
Exactly.
They won't go and sign there. Like Aim was saying, United need to go and do what Arsenal did last year, 2 years ago. Basically just get all the Troy players out and bring in young players. Like none of us wanted Ramsdale. And look at him now. Not many wanted White. People were saying 50 million. But United, I just can't see United going to do that. United need to have the big players there. They sell the jerseys, and that's all they want to do. They say they want the Glazers out, but all the Glazers want to do is make money. Now the Glazers will spend money, but it's just I don't think United are ever going to do the way Arsenal did it.
No, and I don't think they can in some way, because there's from club wise, I think they're even just a bit bigger as well, and you would really need a big manager with big balls to do what Arteta did, and I think that's kind of one of the issues. But look at they send in players like Anthony is a good player, but he's not worth 100 million euro. He's not worth 85 million quid, So they know it's Man United. They went after I think he was starting with 40 million or something, and they went up to 85. That is just absolutely madness. Look, he's gonna come back in, and Simon said it's always hard to predict any game. But especially this now, we have the transfer window be closing as well on Thursday, so we don't know what's going to happen with Ronaldo. We don't know what's going to happen with our side of the players. Are the players who are going to be the signing? I know Casemiro played his first. Did he play his first full game? I don't know. But he's in there now. Anthony, I think, is coming back maybe for the weekend. It's going to be his first game. It's not going to. They didn't have a preseason with him, so it's not going to be just slotting in like that. So at least, our guys will be brought in. We had a preseason with them. Zinchenko fitted in perfectly, after a few games. So did Jesus. But I don't think that Anthony's just going to go straight in and make wonders. Maybe he does. I don't know. It's one of these games. And I'm hoping as well that we're going to get a narrow win at 2-1 maybe. But I would be happy with the point. But yeah, I think it has a lot to do what's happening during the week for as well for the squad, what we have, who we're going to play. And then we can see if we get 3 points tomorrow. I think Sunday's going to be a different game. If we're not getting the result tomorrow, then he might be he might start jittering. But I don't think that's the Arsenal we are now. Maybe last year that would have happened. I think we're going to get 3 points tomorrow, and then we're going to give them a game on Sunday. And I hope it's a good game, because it's Arsenal United never lets you down normally.
You just got to look at the Chelsea-Arsenal game last season, end of last season. No one thought we was going to win that away.
Eamon said it, actually.
We blew them away.
Eamon was the only one that said it. Yeah, that was a bizarre result. I didn't see that coming at all, because we'd lost did 3 games in April.
Yeah.
Up to that game, and I thought that was going to be, at that stage I wanted Arteta to just get fucking rid of him. But after seeing the Amazon documentary over the course of that season, what he done to that team, I've so much respect for the man. When you see inside the club like them documentaries, and I can see him getting a lot more time as well, the way he's performing at the moment. So in 2.5 years, he's would look to a huge task. You can see the fruits of it now. That brings us to
just on that, Jonathan. I remember I became part of some podcast group. I don't know what it was, Continuity Arsenal or something like that, or I don't know what the hell it was. You might have been on it yourself, but there was a lot of guys I didn't know. There was fellas on it. I don't know who was on it.
Guy, wasn't it?
Sparky John invited me onto it, and I have to say, I watched 2 games, and I decided I'm deleting myself from this group because the vitriol was incredible, right? And it was all about, I don't know how fellas watch games when they spend the whole time on WhatsApp. Well, what game are you watching? But one of the biggest criticisms they had is the season before last was, we're losing 1-0, and there's Arteta standing with his hands in his pockets. Now, sweet Jesus, if that's the best you can level at a manager, he might have been having a little think about what do I do next. So anybody, just on the only reason why I reference that is what you said about the Amazon Prime documentary. Anybody who thinks or who previously thought Mikel Arteta didn't have a passion for what he's doing, that was put to bed. That was put to bed.
Yeah,
he might not always get it right, and I'm not. Arteta gets everything right, but anybody, and I'm not referencing anybody in this call. Anybody who was out there looking at that, who would have thought, actually, this man has no passion. He walks up and down the sideline. His black jumper got it going over as well. I mean, that's the right. And again, if you watch the documentary, you will see how much it means to him, right? And how emotionally invested he is. And we're lucky to have that, you know. Lucky to have that.
I haven't seen that ever. You know, I'm sure probably Wenger had it in the early days, but definitely I've never seen someone so passionate about his job. You know, he's so hungry. You know, every day he must go into training like that. You know, it must be great aura to get off him as a pro player. You know, to have, you know, he's a winning. I'm sure he got that off working with Guardiola as well at his time at City. You know, because that has rubbed off him as well. You know, you're rubbing, you're getting your experience of a serial winner there. You know, Guardiola is just an incredible manager. But in Arteta we trust. And in Trusty we hope to get back from Birmingham. This week's question is from the Manchester United fixture. So hopefully O'Neill, Danton, Kerr can win again so we can get some pearly whites for the rest of the season. The question this week is, name the French striker who scored a goal at Old Trafford in 2002 to win the title for us. And what did you win, Martin?
A fantastic Dublin Arsenal fan pack.
I was at the game.
You 2002?
Was at that
Okay.
game, yeah.
So you should know the answer.
I was and better again, I was in among the Man United fans, but right beside the away end. It was proper now, you know. Proper. Great.
That was a nice. I think every Arsenal fan will never forget. And the away jersey was quite classy too, which is a fucker to get your hands on now. It's all but impossible. But yeah, that's the question. I'm sure it's easy enough for all gooners, but as Martin said, I'll enter and we'll pick a name out of the hat if it's more than 2.
leave your answer in the comment box and ask us some questions, and we're going to bring them up to the next show.
Did you see that question about Saliba? Apparently was the 22nd French player to score in the Premier League for the Arsenal, and who were the other 21? There's something for you to think about now over your Horlicks tonight, you know.
Yeah. Talking about like French league, like Tavares scored again. Jesus Christ, he's on fire.
And even one of them was Jeremy Aliadier, Michael, and the French Hotline engaged. Oh, you need.
I tell you, he's a great. I love listening to him on the Arsenal.
He's brilliant,
isn't he?
Yeah,
he's brilliant. You know.
Yeah. Aside from the footballer he makes a brilliant co-commentator.
He was actually a brilliant footballer, but he got a bad knee injury that took his pace away. He was a brilliant footballer. He was the best out of that Clairefontaine academy of his age group, better than Trezeguet and all these fellas. He was the cheese, but he got a very bad knee injury that really finished him. You know,
probably the page 3 model he was with.
Yeah,
the old ACL goes there, all right.
Just a short update. Southampton have beaten Chelsea 2-1.
And
Excellent. Well, I'm
Rodrigo.
going to log on to that now,
It's
so Martin.
It's amazing that I'm
Southampton
go
2-1.
in the Chelsea game as well. Huh? That's
Yeah,
amazing.
2-1.
I just want to
Rodrigo.
ask. I just want to ask Carl one question through the host, if I may. Carl, are you still in the King's Head? Did you manage to separate your feet from the carpet?
I lost my voice. When I lost my voice, I was shouting help.
I had a zoomy chair. I have a chairlift to get out of the place. You know?
I'll tell you what. It was a boozer with a soundtrack, and it was a good soundtrack. I liked it.
Oh yeah.
It was good. Yeah, it was good.
Oh yeah, big shout out to Eamon as well for the intro music.
Oh, cracking.
Rod and the Mockers, super. Absolutely fucking banging. I love it.
I thought we
We're-
just
we're- we're open for
It's kind of like
sponsorship,
Bandstand Sports Night type of feel about it, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, it does actually. Yeah,
Yeah.
the amount of people that actually liked it straight away without listening to our garbage, I think that probably got us to 139 views.
Yeah,
Any
it was
more
amazing
exciting
after
things?
how many people after 30 seconds turned off.
An original tune by the Rods and Mockers, and thanks Martin for putting it together. Yeah.
Yeah, no worries.
Really is catchy. Yeah, it is. It's catchy. Super. Yeah. With that, that's the preview of Manchester United's game. In terms of tickets, lads, I know Martin said it before we came on air about the Europa League and all. How do supporters go about that for home and away?
The club sent us a message and said all the home games and the away games, especially the away games, if anybody wants to go, like obviously you need to come to our club first, and then we'll see what is being given to the away scheme in Arsenal, and all the tickets that have not been used will come back to the supporters clubs, and then being given the choice between the supporters clubs and season ticket holders. So I know like Zurich and Bodo Glimt will be easier than PSV, but yeah, if there's any chance, we will post on social media if there's anything available. All our members got like a letter been sent with how to apply for them if they want to. But yeah, like look at tickets these days is very hard to get, but there might be a chance to go to Europa League game, especially the away ends anyway.
Yeah. Eamon, would you like to mention anything on tickets wise or anything? Or
No, just on the ticket front, folks. Anybody who wants tickets off the Dublin Arsenal Supporters Club, don't think you can just rock up 6 weeks before a game. Tickets are like hen's teeth this year. You've got to get onto the website and look at the ticket day deadlines. It's the only way, because we can't produce rabbits hour hats. We can get a good supply of tickets if people ask us on time. But if we don't put in the order, it's a real struggle. You go into Ticket Exchange now, folks. You could be on it for 20 hours looking for one ticket, you know? So please look up the deadlines. That's what we've put up there for people, you know?
yeah. In other words, if you're not a season ticket holder, you're bollocks this season.
No, not at all. No, actually, quite the opposite. I'm going to go again, just in case you missed that bit, right? The Dublin Arsenal Supporters Club will provide tickets for its members so long as the applicants apply in time before they go on silver sale. Once they go on silver sale, we're done. So we can get tickets.
I want tickets for Spurs, Liverpool, and City at home.
All our tickets till Christmas are gone.
Yeah.
And that's the end of my podcast.
I want hair like Robert Plant, but it's just not going to happen, you know?
They've changed the Man City fixture, by the way.
May I ask, what was your...
That's maybe another thing. They changed the Man City fixture. I think it's the day before now, isn't it?
They changed it from a Tuesday to a Thursday. Now it's changed it to the Wednesday.
Oh, the other way. Oh, yeah, something like that, yeah.
Is that because of the Europa League fixture, probably?
It's
Man City.
It's
the Man City Champions League fixtures, that's why.
That game is on Amazon, as far as I know, in October.
It is indeed.
Yeah. That's
Amazon
a Wednesday game now, is it?
A Wednesday now, yeah.
Yeah, I would have loved it. Yeah. Well, we seem to play fucking City at the wrong moment for myself. That should be a cracking game, though. The way we're playing, if we can continue their form up to that, that'd be a great one between Arteta and Guardiola, fight for top spot.
Yeah.
Just talking about Europa tickets, if anyone is going to Eindhoven, there seems to be a lot of people on my group staying in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
It's not far away, yeah.
And just getting a train up, about an hour and a bit train, but I think Amsterdam's going to be full of gooners.
Yeah, and seemingly as well is like people went to the PSV game. They said after the game there is like in the stadium there's a train station where you basically like, especially the away end, we get straight away a train to Amsterdam.
Yeah.
And it takes about an hour. So yeah.
Man, I'd say if you flew Ryanair to Eindhoven, they'd probably drop you at Amsterdam. So maybe just get the Amsterdam flight from Ryanair, and they probably drop you in Eindhoven.
Actually, the problem with Ryanair from Dublin anyway. The problem from Ryanair from Dublin to Eindhoven is that they only fly on a Wednesday and a Friday. They don't fly on a Thursday. So you have to have a 2-nighter in Holland.
The other problem with Eindhoven, Martin, is it's worse than fucking Charlotte. It's a shithole, you know.
I know, yeah.
It's just an industrial place. There's nothing there, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Welcome to Eindhoven. It goes well in my brain and all over my face box in this moment. Yes. No, I won't be going to Eindhoven.
The only good thing is McDonald's sells Heineken, which is quite good.
Anywhere else in the world to sell beer, Heineken beside Ireland.
What does that tell about us?
Out as far as Amsterdam, you start getting that Belgian beer. You wouldn't be left short with that stuff, you know.
No, you wouldn't. Yeah.
Belgium is the place for the beer, you know.
That was the head off, yeah. Yeah, look, great away trips, and it's just good to see it's back in Europe, lads, isn't it? As a whole,
it is, yeah.
You know? And the games are going to come thick and fast right up before the World Cup, which is, I think, it's a good thing as well, you know, like, because you can never get enough games, you know, and when you're on a good run of form, you just want the games to keep coming, you know. So
you might combine the trip to Bodo Glimt with a trip to Santa Claus. It's like just straight next to the door, somewhere there up there.
Yeah, all I wish for is a title.
all I'm going to say, lads, is I've got a hotel booked for Budapest. So if anyone wants if anyone's as confident as me, I've my hotel's booked.
The cancellation.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I've done it. Ticket or no ticket, I'm going.
Yeah. I'm going to Eindhoven myself, so I've that booked for the Wednesday to the Friday, so
good.
Looking forward to it.
Oh, good man.
Yeah.
Should be a good game, one way or the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always good games against the Dutch, so hopefully be good atmosphere.
Yeah.
Back in the Champions League, fingers crossed next year, lads. The way we're going.
Hopefully.
Is there anything else, lads, you'd like to mention about transfers or anything, Arsenal gossip or anything?
No, I think there's a lot of stuff.
When you were gone.
Okay.
We need a winger, and we may now need a stopgap central midfielder with El Neni gone, you know.
Yeah.
I'll say the biggest business for me is to see Saka sign a new contract and Saliba sign a new contract. If I see them two, I'm happy with no transfers, but that's what I want to see happen.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, keep them two. Yeah,
I think he will as well. No.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why? Yeah, which way we were playing and now, why wouldn't they? Yeah. Yeah, I can't see. Yeah, it's one or two would be nice to add to the end of the window, but I can't see much more happening really with 2 days with the match tomorrow night. Now, and all eyes be focused on that as well. Is it tomorrow night the end of the window, or is it Thursday?
Thursday.
Thursday, all day Thursday, right? Okay, so it gives us a day to get rid of the dead wood, what's left. But
we don't have that much.
Yeah, but he's done a good job, hasn't he, Arteta? He's got the players out he didn't want and the players in that he does want, and we're forming a great team spirit there, which is most important. Along, you know, and they believe in what we're doing, and the young team as well. So that concludes our show this week, folks. We'll be reviewing Villa and the United game and previewing Everton on September the 11th. That's our next home fixture, and of course the first Europa League game, which is the Thursday beforehand, Zurich away. That's another one, so another busy show for us. I'd like to thank Craig for his debut. Good showing, Craig.
Great, lads. Thank you.
Ozzy, as always, from the UK, always a pleasure. Martin, you're doing a great job with Southampton 2-1 up tonight, and you're making the show. Super stuff. And to the
double Joe
himself, Eamon Donnelly, are you going to play us out with a tune?
As I say, there's no chance today. I'll concentrate on my football, and I just get on with it. I just get on with it. And I was very pleased with it, Perry Dale and Don Howe. They were there, as I say, great partnership. Now, how's that? Feels young.
You only sing when
See
we're
you all,
winning.
guys.
Yeah, catch a
Yeah.
show on Dublin
Take
Arsenal
care.
YouTube channel, and we'll see you all again next week. Cheers, lads.
Come on,
Cheers,
guys.
thanks.